Hi, beautiful people. So, for today, our class, we are going to concentrate on the Form 3s. If you're in Form 3 and you are going to sit for the upcoming wassce exams, then you have to watch this video till the end because I have this great step by step of answering essay questions for you to get your 25 out of 25. There are a lot of theories going on that people don't pass literature. Please take that mindset off. It's possible you get an A in literature. Just follow me and then subscribe. Watch the video, share it to your friends who are home now because you'll be going back to school on the 18th. Okay, so for the time being, this is very important and it will help you pass your exams. Let's begin with a sample question. So you go to the exams hall, you get a question like, examine the character of Troy Maxson in Fences. The question again. Examine the character of Troy Maxson in Fences by August Wilson. First of all, make sure you understand the question very well before you attempt it because you have other options. If you don't understand this question, you move on to the next. So for you to pick this question, that means you understand it. Okay, so you have to examine. So what the question is demanding is just to tell us what the character trait of Troy Maxson is. What character trait did he exhibit in the story? Okay, before I continue, there's a difference between characteristics and then role. There's a difference between character and role. Okay, so if you want to know the difference between the character and role, watch my next video. So for now, we are concentrating on the character of Troy Maxson in Fences by August Wilson. Before you start your essay, you must start with a theme. Don't ever in your life write any essay without a theme. So put that in your mind. Don't write any essay without a theme. Say it after me. Don't write any essay without a theme. What are some of the themes we can find in Fences? We have theme of racism, theme of family, theme of love, theme of segregation, theme of responsibility, theme of father-son relationship, and a lot. You pick one theme. Okay, so for example, I picked the theme of racism. Okay, so you go like, the theme in Fences is racism. You can't just stop at that. If you say the theme in Fences is racism, you haven't done anything yet. You move on to tell us any evidence from the book that really shows that there is racism discussed in the book. Okay, so you remember when Troy Maxson works at the sanitation department, he realized there was a gap. He realized there was a problem. He sat down and then he realized that no, why is it that only the white folks are allowed to drive the truck and the blacks are only allowed to collect or carry the garbage? So he even discussed with his friend Bono. Bono, I have to see Mr. Rand. I have something that I want to discuss with him. I also want to drive the truck. So I have to see him and then let him know that for driving a truck, you don't need any high intellectual abilities. I would be able to drive a truck. Why is that only the whites are driving the truck and the blacks are lifting the garbage? Bono was even scared, so he had to discourage Troy. I hope you don't get fired, Bono said. Okay, so you can use this instance to support your point, okay, to support the theme of racism. When you are done, you move on to the next step of your essay, which is character identification. Character identification. What is character identification? Character identification is simply to tell the examiner that you know your characters. There are some specific things about the characters that if you don't read the book, you won't know. So just prove to the examiner that, examiner, I know my characters well. So for example, what are some of the things you can say about Troy? Troy is an African American man. Troy works at the sanitation department. So you realize that not anyone can give these two details about Troy. It's only those who have really read the book. Okay, so you give these two sentences. Troy is an African American. Troy works at the sanitation department. You are done with your character identification. You move on to another character. Okay, you do a character identification of another character, maybe Rose. You say Rose is the wife of Troy. Rose is the mother of Corey. You are done with character identification. Then you move on to your thesis statement, which is very vital in your essay. Okay, your thesis statement, you go like, this essay is to examine the character of Troy. You can also put it in another way. I am to examine the character of Troy. Or I am about to. Or in the subsequent paragraphs, I will examine the character of Troy. Then you start with your points. So what is your first point? The essay is asking us to give some character of Troy, some character trait of Troy. So when you read the book, what are some of the characteristics or some of the character traits he exhibited? So you can say Troy is a responsible man. You can't just leave it at that. You have to explain. Is there any evidence from the book that shows that Troy Maxson was really a responsible man? Yes, of course. He is a responsible man because in one of the scenes we realized that Corey and Troy were having a conversation where Corey was questioning the dad. Why don't you love me, Dad? Why don't you love me, Dad? And Troy was like, is there any law saying I should love you? Is there anywhere in the law that says I should love you? No. My duty is for me to take care of you. I give you clothes, I give you shelter, I give you food. I'm doing my responsibility and it ends at that. There is nowhere in the law that says or demands or forces me to love you, son. So we see that Troy provides for his family. So he is responsible. If there are other evidence in the book that shows that he's really responsible, you add it. Then you move on to your second point. Secondly, Troy Maxson is a brave man. Why do you say Troy Maxson is a brave man? He's a brave man because it's only people who are bold and brave who walk up to their bosses, demanding a different role apart from what they've been assigned to. So if you're not bold, if you're not brave, you're going to be able to walk up to your boss. Even Bono, his friend, was even scared he's going to be fired if he makes such an attempt.